So here we are doing a prep video part 2. We did some basic stuff last time and we're doing just more this time. The PCV valve is an easy thing to change and it's inexpensive. It's a 22mm socket to get this thing out of here, and we're just going to use the impact gun to get it out. It has Loctite. Make note, Loctite. Oh look, the new one has its own Loctite already on it. Isn't that amazing? That's what's great about buying OEM dealer stuff. So all we gotta do is get it started. Let's see, who makes this thing? I'm curious. I can't even read that. Can you read that? What the heck does that say?
I don't even know.
I think that might be Arabic. I don't know what the heck that says. Anyways, this is the OEM one. Let's see. As for the package says made in Japan. So good stuff. Alright. Anyways, let's put it back in with our 22mm socket. There you go. Done. Oh look, the part number right there. How convenient. Okay, now what we're gonna do is real basic maintenance item is replace the valve cover gasket on this motor, and we just gotta loosen all these 10mm bolts here. Alright, so now we gotta pry this sucker off. There we go. Yeah. Oops. We'll figure out where those go later. Alright, so we pulled off our valve cover, and then what we want to do is clean the mating surface where the gasket sits. And so one way to do that is just to use good old acetone and just wipe it along the surface here. This motor's been sitting, so there's not a lot of oil on the surface. But typically, if you do a valve cover gasket on a brand new engine, or not a brand new engine, but a running engine, I should say, you're gonna run into a lot of oil probably on here. And you can see here we're gonna have to put RTV, that's the mating surface of the timing cover and the cylinder head, and we want to seal that off good. So I'm just going all the way around and cleaning up the mating surface. Oh, that hook shouldn't be there, just to let you know. Alright. So we got our valve cover here. Are we refocused? So we're just gonna, what you do is just set the valve cover gasket back into the track here. Here we go. I might be crazy. Might be the other way around. There we go. Alright, that's much better. So here we go. You can follow the shape. Then you can figure if you're doing it right or completely wrong. There you go. You can see that we're following the shape of the valve cover. And then you got your spark plug tube seals. Make sure you set those in properly. Oops. Okay. And this is a brand new OEM Toyota gasket, by the way. There we go. So, you know that thing's gonna fit right. If it doesn't, you're doing something wrong. Because this is the original Toyota. Alright. And just for good measure, I like to clean the surface of this gasket before I put it on. Okay, so make sure that that's in there. Probably should have done that before I cleaned it. And then we're gonna flip it over and drop it on.
Should you put RTV?
Oh yeah, RTV, you were right. Where did I put my RTV? It's right here. So we have a typical RTV problem where it's drying up and we need to just stab it in a random place. Say we'll use this hose right here. So, oh yeah. So there we go. The point where you want to put the RTV is just right there where the timing cover meets the cylinder head. And I'll just do this one with my finger. And that's it. Alright, so now the rest of it is just the gasket sealing against the cylinder head. Just carefully drop it on. There we go. Alright. Yeah. You see, pick up there, like something like that. You can fix the valve and put it back in because then you can see where other parts connect to the engine. There you go, 2 nuts, and they have 2 in the center. Alright, so let's take this home. As a general rule, I'm just kind of moving from the center outward. Did I get everything? I think I did. So anyways, there you go. Alright. Oh, so we forgot. There's like some brackets that are supposed to go in here. So there's one. And we're going to slap that on. Flip it to forward. And then we have another one that I think is supposed to go right here. And we're going to put that there. These are just brackets that like support the wiring, so which is important, of course. You need your wiring. All right, there we go. So quick little touch up. All right, so another thing we're gonna check in preparation of putting this engine in is the spark plugs. So I'm using my spark plug socket, and we're gonna take these out and see what's going on here, because this is a mysterious junkyard motor. Looks like we have some real nice NGKs here. They're iridiums, as they should be. Toyota uses Denso, but NGK is also an OEM quality supplier, and these look like these have probably been changed very recently. So I'm gonna say these are good to go, and we're just gonna put them back in.
No anti-seize?
Oh yeah, they do have anti-seize on them, I can tell. They have that ooey gooey. So, yeah, now the person that put these in did a good job. Put the anti-seize, and these spark plugs are good to go, looks like. So here we are. What is this, part 2? But we're putting in our engine, and we already have the drive plate installed. We actually put a new rear main seal. I sort of skipped that part because of time, but I went to the hardware store and bought a 3-inch PVC pipe here, and then this is actually the perfect size where you can just set it up against the seal and just tap it in with a hammer or whatever you choose, I guess. But yeah, if you get the 3-inch pipe piece, that thing works great to drive in the seal. I've actually done the same technique on another vehicle, and it worked for that as well. Anyways, so now we're trying to line up our engine. We got, oh, the crank seal. Yeah, the crank seal we did that in the front. That one I just use a large socket to drive that one in. I don't know, it's like I think a 36 millimeter, something, a large socket. Basically the same idea as this. So you just get that piece that you can drive it in with. There's actually, if you go to the store, like say like Harbor Freight, not that we're plugging that, but if you go to the tool store, they sell kits that are meant to drive in seals, and they have basically large round pieces that are made to line up with your typical common seals, and you know that's basically how it works. But anyways, so the other issue we are having is, well, when you put the engine block to the transmission, you're supposed to have 2 dowel pins to line it up, and our new engine only came with 1, and so I purchased another dowel pin, and we had a little bit of trouble, but we figured out that the other one goes down there, and once you drop the engine into place, these 2 dowel pins will keep everything in perfect alignment, and that's what we're gonna do next. It's kind of nice to set it like that, let it slowly drop, pull the other stuff around it. So now that we got our 2 dowel pins lined up, or well, the engine block lined up with the transmission, bolts that connect the 2 go right in, no problem. So that's how you know you're doing right, when this stuff goes right in, no problem. We're going to tighten that up just a bit, not fully, because we want to make sure everything else lines up. Alright, that's nice though. Much better than before. Then we gotta put in the starter. Look, it's the original starter. It's funny that the starter outlasted the motor. Oh, this one goes this way. So one of the starter bolts goes from the transmission side. The other one goes from the starter side, or engine block side. I'm just hand threading this stuff in because I don't want any fitment issues. I want to make sure that this transmission and engine block go together really nicely. We have some more bolts to set up. So there's 2 bolts that go in the back side here on the exhaust side. And now that we have our dowel pins lined up, with our missing dowel pin replaced, these are going in perfectly. Then we have 2 more bolts to put in on the bottom. So we gotta line up our engine mount, and once we have this in place, our engine will be basically secured, and then we'll be ready to just button everything up. Yeah, so you know everything's in good alignment, you're doing it right when it all just goes together. I can just hand thread all these bolts in place, and they fit perfectly. This one's a little bit of a tight fit because, I don't know, it looks like it originally was a little off. Can you crank that? Like maybe 1 crank? One more? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this mount's a little bit off, but it's okay. It'll work. So I'm just gonna use the good old impact gun. Get all this buttoned up. Alright, so we'll put the last two nuts right here on the engine mount. And with these we should have our engine stabilized basically. Okay, now we're good. Alright, so now we're gonna, as you can see, the motor hardly budged because now it's firmly in place. And we're gonna take the crane out of here. Let's see. So just slide it back. So there's a couple more bolts that need to go in from below, and let's just hope they line up. So we're gonna hit these ones, and there we go. Then we just got two more to do down below. Alright, that one went right in. And then hit the one on the back side here. It's a little tricky because there's a subframe piece here, but with the right technique you can work around it, and these bolts are going right in. There we go. Just use a 3/8 ratchet with a 14 millimeter socket. Get those tight. Then I gotta do the bottom one. Alright, let's see, right there. Can hardly see what I'm doing, but hey, that's how it goes. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting tight. Alright. There we go. Alright, so we're putting our air conditioning compressor back in. The bolts were a little corroded, so I put some anti-seize on them. Or I am putting that on. Let's see. That's not where I needed to go. There we go. Sometimes you gotta be careful because this is going into aluminum. You wanna make sure you know you're doing it right. Okay. So now we're gonna put our new radiator in place. This is a Denso radiator. Make sure you have your grommets in the right place. There we go. And then, oh yeah, it would help if we had our radiator mounts. But yeah, this one's a Denso. I didn't honestly trust the other one because it was a weird looking aftermarket one. And Denso is an OEM manufacturer for Toyota. So that's why I went with this. And yeah, we need to get the mounts. But let's see. There we go. Okay, now you can see it's more lined up with the radiator support. I think this car's been in some accidents. The front, maybe, because this doesn't line up quite right. And then the rear, for sure, because I can see that. But it's kind of, well, we'll see how that goes when we get the mounts. Because it's like, it's not quite aligned. Or who knows, maybe it's because this is a Denso that's made in Indonesia and it's janky. We'll see what happens. So we're mounting our brand new radiator, which I'm installing because, well, basically the motor was overheating because it had a blown head gasket, had too much pressure going through the coolant system, and I don't trust this radiator. Same reason I don't trust the water pump, because all the cylinder pressure was leaking into the cooling system. There we go. Alright. So that looks pretty good. For some reason it's a little twisted to this side. I'm not sure about the quality of this radiator now, but hey, whatever. It's a Denso. Let's see. Then we need to hook up our transmission lines. So part of putting this back together is hooking the transmission cooler lines up to the radiator. And then they bolt right here to the body. So I probably go a little overboard, but I like putting anti-seize on bolts that show corrosion, because I don't want them to freeze up in their location in the future. So we're just tightening up these little bolts that mount the cooler hoses. Alright, so we're going to use the coils that were in the old motor, because you do need to expect the wrecking yard that you got the motor from to keep the coils. I mean, or they might not, but in this case they did. And we're using the dielectric grease to make a nice connection there to the spark plugs. And it's going to get all these coils plugged in. Oh, they don't want to stay down, so I gotta hold them there. And oh, it's just maybe something I just want to mention, just because I feel like saying it, that I would definitely recommend always using original coils. Don't replace with aftermarket coils. Don't use anything other than a Denso coil, because I've seen misfires with aftermarket coils that are brand new. So, you know, Toyota ignition systems are very sensitive. Alright, so definitely an important step, without a doubt, is putting the clamps on for the cooler lines to the transmission. I'm going to do the other one from down below. Okay. Alright. So we got our cooler lines in place. And now, I think we need to put our alternator in place. Alright, so the alternator, there's no tensioning of this accessory here. It just goes firmly into place. Might be tricky getting it wedged back into place, but we're getting it going. Alright, there we go. Then we gotta do the 12er. Alright, there we go. We got an alternator installed. So we got our new radiator, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to line up the fan and get it bolted down. Oh, why does that not want to line up? Dude, I think this, I swear, I think this radiator's warped. It doesn't line up with anything. Ah, there we go. Wow, okay. Took a little bit of effort. I guess that's what you get when you do aftermarket. Even though I thought it was good because it was Denso. Alright, everything's lining up. I don't know if there's a clamp here. Might not be required. There we go. Okay, that's too tight of a fit. Should have done that before the radiator. Note for the future. But we have the ratcheting wrench that can take care of this problem. There we go. Fan and cooling reservoir are in place. Just need to fill this sucker up.